Alright guys, welcome to my first Armored Core 6 build. So for this video, we'll be looking at building a functional Gundam Wing Zero mobile suit in Armored Core. Basically, this build prioritizes form over function, but I created this build with PvP in mind. Okay, let's talk about how to build Gundam Wing Zero. For the body parts, it's mostly a combination of Alba for head and core, Mind Alpha for arms, and HAL 826 for legs. I picked these heads, core, and legs mostly because I think they are the parts that best capture the look of Wing Zero. For the arms, I picked the Mind Alpha part since it has well-balanced recoil control and firearm specialization while still capturing the Wing Zero look. The recoil control is there to help you with rapid firing, while the firearm specialization is there to help you hit a moving target. For the weapons, let's talk about the shoulder weapons first. For this one, the Truenas are a pretty easy choice since they look like Wing Zero's wings, deal strong direct damage, and they are pretty easy on weight and EN load. For the arm weapons, I decided to use dual nebula to capture the essence of the twin buster rifle of Wing Zero. I know, they are a bit far from the looks of the buster rifles, but this one really makes the build competent in PvP. There are two other weapons that look like the buster rifle, but I just couldn't make them work in PvP. First is the Harris rifles. Overall, I just found them underwhelming. You'd need 2 charge shots to break a stagger meter and you're dead in the water after that since it takes like 3 seconds for it to cool down and become usable again. This will put you in a terrible position since this just takes pressure off your opponent. The Truenas also wouldn't be able to help in this scenario since it can't hit anything that's moving even just slightly. Another option is the Coral Rifle or the WLT-001. This one is just too weak if not charged and too slow if fully charged. It also locks you into position while firing fully charged, and it's not a position you'd want to have with this build. Now for the Nebula, it solves the issues of using Harris and Coral Rifle. A charge attack deals decent damage even though it only has 125 direct hit adjustment. A charged Nebula also doesn't overheat immediately, so you could continue applying pressure by rapid firing or charging another shot depending on the situation. The trajectory speed of a charged Nebula is also similar to the Coral Rifle, so you could still miss. What makes Nebula better than the Coral Rifle is the blast radius of its charge shot, so missing is not a total waste. For the FCS, I used the P12 SML for its missile lock correction, which is very helpful in making the Truenas more accurate since these guys takes 4.2 seconds to lock on. P12 SML also has decent assist stats, so you'd get to land more shots as compared to using P10 SLT even though it has a higher missile lock correction. For the generator, I used NGI 000 for the massive energy capacity and post-recovery energy supply. It has decent energy firearm specialization to help the damage output of Nebula, though you don't really have a lot of options for this loadout. For the booster, you'd want NGI 001 for its quick boosting capacity and upward thrust. For the expansion, I have Assault Armor on as my Get Off Me option. Now, for the overall strategy of this build, you'd want to fight at a medium range, keeping your opponents at the ideal range of the Nebulas and Truenas of about 400 meters. Quick boost to control the distance, though you'd mostly want to fly up. Flying up puts you in a higher ground obviously, but the key here is if they don't, they would mostly end up taking the AoE damage from the Nebula once it hits the ground if they're being stingy with quick boosts. If they fly up, and they are not using a Coral generator, then they open up themselves to free hits once they run out of boosts and fall down. If you both run out of energy, you can shoot a charged Nebula to stop your descent. Once the animation is complete, you'll have almost full booster again to continue flying. If all else fails and they manage to get close and put pressure on you, use Assault Armor before going for dual Truena hits to teach them to keep their distance. This setup feels good fighting close and medium range opponents, and Zimmerman or melee users would mostly miss their shots against you. The more challenging fight is mostly against mobile missile or rocket users since you generally have the same strategy, except they could shoot more than you. Alright, that's it. Give this build a try and let me know in the comments how it worked for you.
30%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. AP at 30%.